Hey guys, it's Bear here, returning to Preparedness, helping you prepare not for your doomsday, but your everyday. So on the 36th edition of the video podcast here, we talked about edible weeds growing right in your front yard. And if you listen to the audio version of the podcast, I go over a whole list of edible weeds that are growing right now in your front yard. And on this video version, I'm going to give you 3 of those. Pretty common out there, probably. You're trying to get rid of them continually when you're spraying your yards or having somebody come in and put down weed killers and fertilizers and every other chemical you can on your front yard. And the reality is you know, a time like this, during this pandemic that's going on, and we're constantly, you know, thinking about food and you know, things we can do to, you know, whether it be gardening or storing food, and, you know, with all this panic buying and stuff like that, you could be looking, spring's coming around, spring's beginning for some people in the south, for us a little further in the north, it's just getting started, you know, and you can be looking, instead of putting all these chemicals and stuff on your lawn, hopefully, you know, with this whole quarantine and non-essential work, maybe this is part of it, you're not spraying your lawn yet, just take a year off and see what grows, and look at all these wild edibles that are going to grow right in your yard that you've been spending hundreds of dollars to get rid of, that you could be adding to your supply, you know, to feeding yourself, just throwing a little bit in extras, making a wild edible salad right out of your front yard. Obviously, dandelion is one of the common ones that everybody knows, and if you don't know about it, go back and listen to some of the podcasts I've done previously where I talk about that, and, you know, just all the benefits of dandelion. It's amazing. It's an amazing plant. It grows pretty much anywhere, and, you know, everything is edible on it, whether you dry the roots and roast them for, you know, teas, a coffee substitute, you eat the leaves, you eat the flowers, whatever. And that's just a bonus there. That isn't even part of the 3 I'm going to give you here today. So with that being said, we'll get right into it. Alright, so the first one I'm going to give you is Purslane, and I'll leave that picture right there is what it is. And you know, I got a few notes down here as usual on the phone that I'm going to be going over, so if I look down, again, I apologize. So as far as Purslane goes, high in many vitamins, nutrients, minerals. It's high in omega-3 fatty acids, you know, so that's something you're not typically going to get from plants, and this right here is growing right in your front yard, and that can give you a good dose of omega-3s, okay? But it's also got vitamin A, vitamin C, magnesium, potassium, iron, calcium. You know, it's got all those. It's got a little bit of B vitamins, but not much. But, you know, your main things there. Again, it's high in omega-3 fatty acids. And that's something we're all trying to get all the time. You're taking fish oil pills and everything like that, and you can be getting that right from your front yard just from eating a little bit of this, a little bit of that. It's also high. It's also got antioxidants in it. So omega-3 fatty acids, antioxidants, and a ton of vitamins right there in your front yard that you're spraying and killing. If you diversify your front yard with things like the purslane, with clover, with dandelion, with some grass, and, you know, we get into these other ones here that I got down here, you know, that I got coming up next, the next 2, along with some of the other ones on the audio version of the podcast, and you diversify your front yard, and you just have a smorgasbord for yourself, for, you know, if you have rabbits or chickens or anything like that, you can be feeding them and providing nutrient-dense, rich foods, rich in vitamins and minerals and antioxidants and omega-3 fatty acids. You know, you don't get that everywhere, all right? So that first one, Purslane, move on. All right, the next one we're going to cover is Plantain. All right, and Plantain, not the banana-like thing. Nope, not this one. This Plantain. That's right, the vegetable version, the weed version of it, okay? Plantain, first thing with plantain, it grows like crazy. Just like dandelions, it's growing everywhere. You've seen it. You probably didn't know what it was called unless you're into, you know, wild edibles and stuff like that. Plantain is loaded with iron, minerals, vitamins, you know, you name it, it's got it in it, pretty much. It used to be known as white man's foot by the Native Americans, and that was because when we came over, everywhere we walked, it pretty much seemed to grow. It just grows everywhere. Again, I know you've seen this. With the plantain, you kind of want to get them when they're smaller, and that way they're a little more, tender and easier to eat. You kind of saute them up like you would a spinach or anything like that, and they'll be perfect. Kind of give you an asparagus type flavor, I guess, is kind of the best comparative to it. And it's growing like crazy everywhere. Another thing with the plantain is it's known to be have a lot of like healing properties to it. So if you get any abrasions, any cuts or anything on your skin, you can take that and kind of mash it up into like a poultice type and pat that on there instead of using like a Neosporin or anything like that. You can put that plantain on there and wrap it. That leaf, just kind of mashing it up and getting some of that on there, it'll heal that skin really quickly. It's great for that. So not only is it edible, but it's also got medicinal properties, just like that, just like I said. And a lot of these you'll find, not only are they edible and providing these nutrients with you, for you, but there's a lot of, if you start doing a little more research and digging into it, there's a lot of medicinal properties, with dandelion, like I said before, with this plantain, with so many of these wild edibles, they're there for a reason. They were placed here. If you believe in the Creator, right? If you believe in God, or any God, if you believe there was a creation, there is a reason that these things are here. They were placed here specifically for a reason. There was a need for them. They provided for us. And if you look at the history of medicines all come from plants. They are all derived from something. Okay, and that's kind of what we need to understand is they're pulling extracts from these different things and putting them together to provide us with what we need. And if we can provide that for ourselves through wild edibles from our front yard, why aren't we doing that? That's the question we need to be asking ourselves. All right, so the last one we're going to cover here in this video version is lamb's quarters, and that's this right here. Okay, lamb's quarters is an awesome tasting kind of salad, just a salad green. All right, and it is, look at my notes here. So a cup of lamb's quarters will give you 10 times your daily recommended dose of vitamin K. So 10 times your dose of vitamin K, 3 times your dose of vitamin A, and a lot of vitamin C, as well as half your daily dose of calcium and magnesium. Half of your daily dose of calcium and magnesium, 10 times the vitamin K you need, 3 times the vitamin A, just in a couple lamb's quarters. And it's growing out in your front yard, and you're trying to kill it. We're comparing lamb's quarters. It's kind of like a spinach, but again, it's got all these added nutrients in there, or these added vitamins in there, and it's growing right in your front yard. It grows in cracks of sidewalks and everywhere else. You got to understand, these wild edibles that we're killing by spraying our yards could be providing food for us, could be providing nutrients for us that we need. They're here for a reason, and we keep trying to kill them because we've got this mindset that we need this perfectly manicured front lawn, that the suburban lot that serves no purpose. It really does. You're telling me you go out into a field with clover and dandelion and plantain and lamb's quarters and purslane and everything else, and you don't play in there? Like that stops you? No. You still go out and you play in there. You still, go out and play ball or whatever. So why do we need this? Why do we fool ourselves to think we need this perfectly manicured lawn? We need to be providing ourselves with more nutrients. We need to be providing ourselves with better food. And it can start right there in your front yard with your wild edibles. All right, so this year, don't spray. See what you get and give them a try. All right, until next time, this has been Bear with Journey to Preparedness, helping you prepare not only for your doomsday, but your everyday. Peace.